when you start stacking up the numbers for Davante, it's mind-blowing. You know, I really feel like he's the best player that I've played with. And I said that to him the other night, actually. I was just thinking about him and having a lot of gratitude for our friendship and the fact that I get to play with him for so many years now. And I just felt like I wanted to tell him that because it's true.
That was Christmas Day from Aaron Rodgers regarding Davante Adams Christmas. Yesterday. Ho, freaking ho. My goodness. Aaron Rodgers and the rest of the Packers fans out there have to be feeling like yesterday was anything but Christmas. In Las Vegas, they're feeling slightly differently than that. Christmas in March, Peter, but what a shocker. I mean, we have seen some weird, kooky, nutty stuff over the past 2 weeks. I think that one was the one that came the most out of left field, unexpected, and the aftermath, I think, remains to be unreported and unexplored as to what Aaron Rodgers thinks about all this and what role, if any, he had in trying to keep it from happening.
So it's clear now, Mike, through the reporting of Rob Domofsky and others, that Rodgers did know about this before it was announced. The question is, how many days before it was announced? Did he know this before he was going to sign with the Packers on Monday? And that's the biggest question. My feeling is, with the closeness of these two guys, my gut feeling is he probably did know. But that's just a gut feeling and a gut feeling only. Because you're not this close to somebody, and then he hits you with a 2x4 after you sign your contract to stay in Green Bay until you retire. That's the way I look at this. But the larger question, or the larger issue, I think, is that when you get over the shock of this, is not that Aaron Rodgers will be without Davante Adams. It's that the Las Vegas Raiders will be with him. And now, to me, this is going to be the weaponry that Josh McDaniels had when he was in New England just 15 years ago. Remember when Randy Moss came in, and it's Brady to Moss. And to me, Derek Carr, Davante Adams, Hunter Renfrow, and they've lost Zay Jones, but that three thing along that trio, along with a superb tight end group, okay, that is going to be a formidable offense to stop. And to me, I've said this for the last week, even before this happened, the AFC West is the best division, in my opinion, since the NFL split into 8 4-team divisions.
Well, and that side of it is indeed fascinating. We joked in the past when the NFL expanded to 14 playoff teams, 7 per conference, 3 wild cards per conference, that the NFC West potentially could send all 4 teams to the postseason. The AFC West potentially could, depending upon the quality of the second-place teams in the other 3 divisions. The AFC West could, in theory, send all 4 teams. The problem is they play each other twice. So those round-robin home-and-home games in the AFC West are going to be must-see TV this year. Each team keeps making a move to try to get better and better, except for the Chiefs, who really haven't done anything, but they have Patrick Mahomes. They've lost some guys. They kept Frank Clark. They added Justin Reed, but he replaces Tyrann Mathieu. But for the most part, the Chiefs are still the Chiefs. These other teams are striving to get better, and the Raiders, who were in danger of being left in the dust in the past 2 days, they had Chandler Jones, free agent from Arizona, reunited with Josh McDaniels and Patrick Graham in Las Vegas, because Chandler Jones goes all the way back to New England before he became a Cardinal. And now this Davante Adams thing. Let's stay on the Raiders before we pick up the pieces from the Packers side and figure out where they go from here. This is a move that is very unpatriot way. This isn't the kind of thing Bill Belichick would do. Give up a first and a second round pick and pay this kind of money, $141.25 million on a 5-year deal. Still haven't seen the full breakdown. And we have more to say about how the nuances of the contract in Vegas and Green Bay may have been fundamentally different, even if the Packers were technically willing to put more money on a 5-year deal. But this is a major financial commitment. They gave up their draft picks in rounds 1 and 2. It's going to be a long wait for Raiders fans in Las Vegas during the draft. Forget about the first night. They don't have a pick the first night unless they make some other move and add a first-round pick as a courtesy to their fans who are going to be just kind of hanging around watching everybody else make their selections. But this is a bold move by the Raiders. It is the kind of move that Bill Belichick wouldn't have made, but it's the kind of move that Josh McDaniels is making, and in a symbolic way, it tells the world, I'm not going to be Bill Belichick. I'm going to be my own guy.
I think the other thing to realize, Mike, is that Dave Ziggler, who technically after the hirings of Dave Ziggler as general manager and Josh McDaniels as head coach were made, the Raiders made it clear that Ziggler was going to be the personnel guy. And Josh McDaniels is happy with that. He gets along swimmingly with Ziggler. They've been good friends since college back in Ohio. So it's clearly a symphonic relationship, and they both are going to be fine with this signing. But the key is that Dave Ziggler has emerged this postseason as a new power general manager in the NFL. Nobody knows much of anything about him because when you work in personnel in New England, you work under a rock. I'll never forget the time a long time ago when this was maybe 2006 or 7. The Patriots were really good. And Scott Pioli went to work one day in Foxborough, and he was at the guard shack. It was 5:45 in the morning, and he just waved to the guy, and the guy basically said, "Can I see your ID, please?" And I mean, because the GMs, the personnel guys in New England are just not going to ever be able to get fame and be able to be known as really good while they're there. So I think the way I look at this, Mike, is that it's not only a Josh McDaniels deal, it's Dave Ziggler emerging and saying, look, I'm going to look at the landscape, and if I can give my quarterback the receiver he has wanted to play with since the day they both stepped off that campus at Fresno State, if I can give him that receiver, I'm going to do everything in my power to try to do so, even though it denudes this year's draft and it basically really hamstrings them on the salary cap.
Hi, I'm Mike Tirico, and thanks for watching. Make sure to hit subscribe for the latest news and highlights from NBC Sports.